today's episode of Where Are They Now, we're continuing our discussion on Tender Branson. This episode will highlight Tender's years in the Survivor Retention Program, the history behind it, and the early stages of his rise to fame. On today's episode of Where Are They Now, we're going to do a deep dive into Tender Branson and how he became the evangelist with his own line of Bibles and prayer books. He has hosted many different shows, has an autobiography, merchandise, and so much more. On today's episode of Where Are They Now, we're talking about Tender Branson's miracles and alleged murders. We'll start with talking about his My Minute of Fame show and the Super Bowl halftime miracle and botched wedding, and the death of his agent. On today's episode of Where Are They Now, we're getting into the nitty-gritty of Tender Branson's alleged crimes. Last episode, we briefly talked about Tender's agent's death, and we'll be continuing that as well as the death of his caseworker and the accusations that he was murdering former Creedish church members as a way to climb the social ladder. On today's episode of Where Are They Now, we are finally reaching the conclusion of what happened to Tender Branson. We're going to talk about the hijacking of Flight 2039 to Sydney, Australia, and the speculations on the causes and theories behind the hijacking. At the end, we have some theories on where he could be now, as he's currently considered missing for the last 2 years.